Giving and receiving feedback is an important part of the writing process. Whether online or in a classroom setting, peer review is an opportunity for you to give and receive constructive feedback and to improve your writing. In this lesson, we will discuss 6 helpful hints to make the most of your peer review experience. Use a rubric. Be clear and specific. Be tactful. Point out strengths and give compliments. Avoid nitpicking. And give and receive. When providing constructive feedback, use the rubric for the assignment, so you know what you are looking for as you review another student's work. Know what is required, and know what the instructor expects so you can help your fellow classmates meet those expectations. When you give feedback, make sure that it is clear and specific. Too vague might look like this. You might want to rethink your organization. More specific feedback would look like this. The 4th paragraph seems like a tangent. Either make it clear how that paragraph supports your thesis or consider deleting it. The more detailed your feedback is, the more helpful it will be to the author. When you can, give specific examples so the author knows exactly where he or she can improve. Remember, you're not an expert at giving criticism, but a peer offering suggestions. Avoid language that could be interpreted as harsh or overly critical. For example, instead of writing "weak conclusion" in the margin, you could write "Conclusion introduces new topic." Rather than saying, "This doesn't make any sense," say, "Please clarify." Instead of making absolute statements of the paper, frame your feedback as your experience of reading the paper. So instead of, "This part is really confusing," you can say, "I lost your argument in this paragraph and got confused." In one case, you are making an absolute statement, and in the other, you are simply relating your experience as you read. Being courteous increases the chances that the writer will take your advice seriously and make them more likely to give you helpful criticism in the future. Giving peer feedback should be a good experience. It is an opportunity to learn and grow. Making corrections is important, but make sure that you point out strengths and give compliments. Positive feedback is a powerful way to improve writing. It helps a writer see his or her own strengths and helps build confidence. When giving feedback, some things are more important than others. In most peer review settings, the most important thing to focus on is the content of the paper. Is the thesis clear? Overall, does the paper make sense? Is it cohesive? Does it flow? Avoid editing or rewriting the paper, but they are not the top priority unless the review session is specifically dedicated to grammar. Also, when reading someone else's work, ask, "Does it work?" rather than, "Would I have done it differently?" Everyone has his or her own voice and style. In the end, the writer will have to decide what changes to make. Giving constructive feedback is important, but so is receiving it. Make sure to take into account all the feedback that you are given. Do not become defensive if your peer suggests doing something differently than what you want to do. Hearing what others have to say and looking at your paper with a different perspective will allow you to improve your writing and have a stronger paper. You are not under any obligation to make the suggested revisions, but you should keep an open mind. If you think your peer or tutor is giving bad advice, then simply do not include it in your revision. If you are genuinely torn about a suggested revision, then get a second opinion from another peer or the instructor. Let's quickly review what we've discussed today. In a peer review setting, use a rubric or set of questions to help guide your review. Be clear and specific. Be tactful. Point out strengths and give compliments. Avoid nitpicking, and give and receive. Remember that whether online or in a classroom setting, giving and receiving feedback is an important part of the writing process. Use these helpful hints and make the most of your peer review experience. Thank you for watching. This video has been brought to you by the BYU-Idaho Writing Center.